Hello and welcome from Augsburg in Germany to today's Cadina's webinar, 5 Good Reasons for a Digital Twin in 2024. And yeah, we will wait a couple of seconds while all the other participants drop in. We are today live on LinkedIn, we are live on YouTube and also live on Twitch. So welcome wherever you come from at the moment. And yeah, it will take approximately 20 minutes. Today we don't have questions, live questions, but of course you will get my contact data in the end, and then you can always text me or my team, and then we can also answer some questions. So yeah, let's dive into it. First of all, what is a digital twin? There is a lot of talk about the digital twin, and let's start with a very simple example. Like here is a typical CAD planning, and here we want to find out if this product keeps standing or if it falls over. And there will be two simulations. The first simulation will be with not good data, with so-called step files. And yeah, let's keep the simulation running. So now the CAD system is performing a simulation. So it really simulates, does this part in this shape keep standing? And yeah, it keeps standing. Now we do a second simulation where we apply now digital twin data, means with the right attributes, with the right informations inside, with the right materials, and you see it's the same shape, but it now falls apart, and it falls over the desk literally. And that's quite interesting, and that shows you already why it's so important to deliver a digital twin, because you really want to avoid this kind of situation, that your part is the reason why a simulation is wrong or a calculation leads to the wrong results. And maybe from this very easy example of a digital twin simulation, we go to a more complex animation like this one. That's a quite complex project from the mechanical field, where, yeah, nowadays it's very normal before you do anything on the shop floor. First, it is digital, simulated, and really found out if the parts really in combination lead to the right project results. And you see already, of course, from the visual effect, it's in this case, it's about movement. So now you have to deliver movement information. So it can be informations like the gravity information, or it can be movements. And the whole thing, of geometry and information, that's what we call a digital twin. And yeah, before we go even deeper, let me introduce myself very briefly. My name is Wolfgang Nagl. I work here at the management at Cadina's. And yeah, you can scan the QR code and reach out to me and my team so we can really get in touch. Yeah, what is Cadina's doing? Basically, we help manufacturers of mechanical, electrical, and also electrical products to digitalize their products. So we create digital twins for manufacturers that can then be used by engineers and planners. Yeah, what are some references? Here we see many manufacturers who create their digital twin with us. They come from different industry fields, and they all want to service engineers and planners the right way. So they really want to reduce efforts of planners. And now we come to 5 reasons, because still many manufacturers, maybe also you think about, okay, is it worth it? Is it a good deal? What is the return of investment? Are there alternatives? So today I want to show you 5 reasons why it makes sense also for you to create a digital twin. And the first is, engineers, planners, and architects today expect good data. And this is not something that we say. We did one of the biggest surveys among planners, architects, buyers, and engineers. We asked 128,000 people, okay, what are your needs? How does the data need to look like? What does the attributes need to look like? What are your real needs? And this is one of the biggest surveys in the industry, done in the USA, in Europe and also in Asia. And we will touch today some details, but if you want to have the full report, just scan the QR code and then you can just have a look at it in more depth afterwards. So let's dive into some insights. And the first question is, we asked the engineers, when you go to a website of a manufacturer, how does this website needs to look like? And of course, number one answer, it's no surprise, it should be easy to use, and of course, very simple. The second most important one is already the native CAD and BIM data. This means that if an engineer and planner goes to a website, the first question will not be, okay, can I buy it, or what is the price? You see it here it's really about 9% just think about price and so on. So what they really think is, okay, is there also a digital twin data available? Is it configurable? Are there detailed information available? And if you look at these things, you already see that a technician has a different behavior than other target groups. And that's maybe a first takeaway, that if you basically want to talk to engineers and planners and architects, you need to treat them differently. Also, an interesting question we asked is, okay, somehow now the manufacturers does not have data. What you gonna do now? So 20% will contact the supplier and will say, hey, I didn't find data. Can you send me, please, the appropriate digital twin data? But the rest will either redraw it on himself, or which is maybe even more dangerous for manufacturers, is they just request other manufacturers. So what we see here is that don't rely on the fact that they will ask for it. So from the personality, from technicians and architects, as we already talked about, is they don't want to get too much into sales conversations or technical discussions. They are more about finding their own solution. And so don't rely that they reach out to you, and really take care of the 36%. If they don't find the right data, you don't even get this information that there was somebody. You just go somewhere else. And that's very dangerous nowadays, because the demand is getting more and more important. So maybe now you say, okay, target group engineers, planners and architects, but is this really an interesting group? I mean, maybe you say, the purchase order I get from the purchasing department. So why should an engineer and an engineer at all should be interesting for me? And from our perspective, and what our customers say, is that engineers, planners and architects are the most underrated personas that decide the purchase. We also asked in the survey the simple question, so if you use the product in the CAD or in the BIM planning, do you also buy it in the end? And you see, it's 82% of all parts used in the CAD are bought, and that's a very high number. Many of you come from the marketing field, and you think of improving your conversion rates by 0.1% or 0.5%. It's really a tremendous number, 82% in average. So that's really a great number. And that shows that delivering a digital twin, being visible with the right appropriate data in the CAD BIM planning, is really a great business case. So the 82%, maybe you ask yourself, wow, that's a high number, but where does this come from? And here we developed a very interesting graphic that is more, in the end, it's a pendulum that shows, okay, the origin of the planning will be the CAD. Means if he's looking for something, if he has got an idea or a problem to solve, maybe he needs to plan a building, or maybe he has to plan a machine, then the problem that he needs parts the origin will always be the CAD, where an engineer thinks of, okay, how I'm gonna solve this problem. And so the origin of the need is here, and what he does then is he goes to a platform or your website and yeah, gets the data, asks for data. Just go back here again. And then the data is coming inside to the CAD, and as you see, it's like an impulse that is directly coming through here. I don't want to make this too technically. What you just need to keep in mind is planning is the first stage. It's the origin. Then it goes to the bill of material, BOM, which is nothing else like a shopping list for the purchaser. That means what the purchaser sees, for example, in SAP, is nothing than the bill of material coming out of the CAD system. So in the end, very short, the engineer with his decision in the CAD tells the purchaser what kind of product he needs to buy. And that's where the 82% come from. Yeah, reason number 3, maybe now you saw, okay, engineers, planners, architects are interesting. And before you now get starting in reaching out to them and finding out where to find them, I need to warn you that it's very hard to target these personas. It's really hard. They behave different, and they also, I don't want to say that they hide, but it's very, you need to know where to find them. For example, a very well-known platform is, for example, LinkedIn. And sometimes I see manufacturers who are doing a lot of advertisement on LinkedIn, which is, of course, a good thing. Maybe you want to find new employees, but you should not use LinkedIn to find planners and architects. Yes, you will find some, but LinkedIn mainly is a platform for marketers, for operators, for salespeople, for business development people. So don't expect to find too many engineers and planners on LinkedIn. There are just more effective channels. And I will show you now in the next graphic what are, based on science, based on our customers' experience, the best channels for manufacturers to reach out to technicians. And basically, before we go into those, I want to really emphasize that every channel works. Every channel works. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just about, yeah, what do you get for an euro spent? Is it effective? Is it not effective? And again, we are just talking here about engineers, architects, and planners. That's a very specific persona group. And we talk about here, okay, is it effective? Or are we talking about so-called spreading loss? So is it really, you just don't get it really targeted. So you just, yeah, you need to spend a lot of money to really get the same results like on the blue ones. But again, it's a marketing mix. So of course, you can do Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, TikTok, the LinkedIn also, and Google Ads. But in the field of architects and planners, we see this as not so effective. Maybe it starts with the engineering magazine, because an engineering magazine, of course, who will read an engineering magazine? Well, mostly engineers. So you will already find, or you will be already visible for engineers, as they are the main group reading that. But what is a little bit missing on the magazine is you cannot track it. You cannot see, okay, which person is on page 17 now. So that's why we consider this as spreading loss. Where we firstly think of what is a very important channel for you is your website. And think about again about the survey where the architect said, okay, when I'm on a website, I really want to find these assets. So you should enhance your website with these tools, like a 3D preview, download of all the different CAD and BIM formats, download of machine-readable digital twin information. And that's quite easy to do. Then the next step, where even more engineers and planners are available, is on so-called engineering platforms or BIM platforms. It's like the Amazon tool where a planner finds just everything he needs. If he's planning a building, he finds chairs, he finds doors, he finds from different manufacturers all the BIM models all the CAD models, he can download it. And for example, on our platform, there are 24 million users. It's just engineers and planners. It's very specific, it's very targeted. So here you don't have any loss. It's very effective if you want to reach this target group. Then a very important one is configurators and software tools like product finders, or you have something on your website to help the engineer to identify the right solution or to solve a problem. This target group is also mainly used, of course, how you customize it. If you can customize it very well, if you say, well, I'm just interested in the pipe planners of this specific branch, then you should create a digital tool. This is also something we could do in a very easy way, but you can also do it on your own and then feature it on different channels. And then what is definitely the most important channel to find engineers and planners is the CAD and BIM system itself. May it be an Allplan, may it be a Revit, may it be a SolidWorks. That's the most effective channels if you can bring your products directly in front of the eye of the planner. And that's also, with the right solution, is quite easy to do, that whenever somebody installs himself a SolidWorks program or an AutoCAD software, to bring your products directly into the software. It's the most effective one, and it's not so hard to do. Yeah, reason number 4 is to have a competitive advance by digital tools. I mean, you saw already, okay, engineers contribute a lot to the sales decision process, yeah, at itself, but it's also about delivering digital tools that either make your own life easier internally or make the life for the external world, for your customers, easier. And yeah, basically the job of a planner or an architect did not really change. So yeah, he is there to find a solution for complex problems. He is there to select the right parts. So that's basically his job, to have a look on the costs and the time frame. But what changes is just his desk. So the job is the same, but the desk changes as more and more tools get digitalized, get consolidated on different devices. May it be the phone, may it be the computer. And the job didn't change, but the tools changed. They need to get more done in the same time. They need to be more effective. And this is why maybe you also know it from your private life. Yeah, you nowadays you have more digital tools to do different jobs. And it's the same with the business life. The B2C always gets reflected in the B2B world. And very interesting tool, for example, is the spare part assistant. So in order to identify parts, spare parts, it's already very easy to just take a photo of this specific part to identify it. That's a very hard challenge, to identify parts that maybe, there is no sign and there is no number anymore on it, and you can already identify it just by a photo. And here is just an example where, you identify a part by taking a photo, and the AI recognizes which part it is. You can now shop it, you can now compare it, you can now get connected to a service technician. So photo search, a very good tool. Now you might say, hey Wolfgang, but all these parts, I mean, that's quite easy to identify. I mean, they are brand new. I have here an example for you that was just 20 years running. So right on the right side, you have here the original part. It is a linear motion part from the mechanical field, and this is how it's worn down 20 years. So you will say, okay, now I need a spare part. It's very hard to find here any numbers. And even that can be recognized with AI tools, because the AI just recognizes some very specific geometrical things here, like for example those holes, and compares it and brings it to a big database, and this is possible. So digital tools bring a lot of automatization. It eliminates jobs nobody really wants to do, like it's always the same task, or it reduces times. It contributes to sales and marketing. And of course, I would like to invite you that you also give it a shot and just plan like this bench in augmented reality. Means that you really place now this bench in front of your computer, no matter if you are at the home office or wherever you are, just to scan this QR code. And once you scanned it, there is no registration needed, no app needed. The only thing is you need just to confirm that he opens the 3D. So the second step is you click on AR, then you need to confirm open 3D. And then you already see, maybe you need to shake the device a little bit right and left, depends a little bit on your light. And then you can place the bench. Maybe you need to make it a little bit smaller. You can turn it, you can place it around the room. So you see already that it is quite easy that I bring you into a situation that you plan with my bench. So, and that's the power of digitalization, that you have this scaling effect of digital tools. You don't need to explain it to everybody individually. You just hand out the tool itself creates the value. Okay, don't sit on the bench. We already had that in the past, so we are not that far that you can sit on it. Yeah, coming to the last reason, last but not least, because it's coming more and more up, is that there are coming new requirements on machine readable data. Here we have a chart, for example, from the architectural field. In architecture, you see in the past years, it was very normal to hand out documents like big planning books and documentation, and the planner was very happy with that in the 2000s. But nowadays, you see the documents, the interest on documents goes really down. Also in the mechanical field. So if you ask somebody, hey, you want to have a catalog, you already will see nobody even takes a catalog. Maybe they want it as a PDF, or they say, hey, can I have it digital? You have kind of a product finder. So documents really go down. Also, geometry has got his peak already. Geometry will always stay important for the planning process, but what you see is really the data that is going up. And with data, I don't mean the geometry. The data is really the attributes. If you think about the first example that we had, it's really, does it have the right material information inside? Does it have the right gravity information inside? Does it have the right movement information inside? So this is really what you need to do. So in order to avoid situations like this, you don't want to be the manufacturer who is responsible that there is a miscalculation. And in our perspective, this is a digital twin. It's the combination of a good, well-modeled geometry, but also his behavior. How does it move? How quick does it move? What's the acceleration? What's the end speed? So everything the engineer and the planner has, or all the demands he has got for calculation, for planning, are inside the model. And of course, it is also okay to get started small. And if you say, I don't know, nobody asks about the digital twin, think about again why they don't ask. Because just 20% will ask actively, the rest just goes somewhere else. Or maybe you say, we got step files and PDF data sheets, which is already a good first step. But be aware that in order to create a digital twin, there is a lot of rework the customer needs to do. It's literally, like you say, you are a restaurant and you offer a pizza, so that's a pizza. But if you hand over documents, PDFs and step files, it's like that you just hand over the ingredients and say, make your pizza on your own. Good luck. But for the same price, right? So that's really, you just hand over the work to the planner. And I hope you saw now also some more benefits for you, that it's really the return of investment is ridiculous low. Also a topic that is coming more and more are, of course, all the environmental information like CO2 footprint, like also supply chain information, reach rows, etc. So there are coming big standards. The EU is working now on a big standard that you need to deliver yeah, informations inside about may it be environment or may it be supply chain in future, and that can be very well transformed or transported with a digital twin. So yeah, that's hope I could motivate some of you. If you say, okay, I want to learn more or I want to see my product as a digital twin, just connect with me and I will connect you to my team. They come back to you. You can have a free demo. You can see your products. You can really see what if your target group is requesting that already. And in this case, I thank you for your attention on may it be LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch, and see you soon again to the next Cadenius webinar. And I wish you a very nice day from Germany.